With this one shot, Ganon fundamentally changed the rules of the entire tournament last weekend. Let's talk about it. So a lot of you may have not even watched the kcwo Wide Open, and I don't blame you because it's not that particularly exciting to see more Silver Series if you're just a casual fan. But for me, it was probably the best weekend in disc golf I have ever had. And that's because I am a local to the Kansas City area and I got to see some amazing disc golf, but there's one hole in particular that we need to talk about, and that is because Ganon fundamentally changed how this hole is allowed to be played. So you can see the shot looks pretty narrow, pretty straightforward. Just hit your line, call it a day. Yuli does a great job hitting his straight shot. Matty-O also does a great job just getting a straight shot out there. But with that said, I do think Matty-O could have had the same creativity that Ganon had, because actually in the 2021 Preserve, one of the best shots that I have ever seen occurred with a very similar shot where he was forced to throw a totally crazy Sky Annie shot that somehow rolls up right to the basket. I still cannot believe how that happened. But Matty-O did not partake in the madness that was Ganon's shot. So we get to Ganon's shot, and I was actually there for this shot the entire time he was leading up to it. And he was like, honestly guys, I'm just going to try to run it all the way around the woods, so everybody back up. If you could spot me, that would be great. And actually a precursor to this, the TD and Gannon were talking, and there's a large backup on this hole, so you have a lot of time just to ponder and whatever. And Gannon was like, so there's no rule against going on the left side, right? And the TD reluctantly was like, I mean, read the caddy book. What does it say? And looking at the caddy book, it says next to nothing. Marked line for left hole 13 fairway. But you'll notice there is a lot of room on that left side. And if you do have a crazy enough idea and ability to throw Sky Annie shots, then this might not be a bad play. And I do honestly think that this is probably not even a phenomenal shot for Ganon. I think he went out of bounds, and he very well could have easily had an eagle, but he just went OB. And I'm not even sure if this OB line was actually painted. I don't remember seeing it, but that's kind of immaterial right now. So what does happen is Ganon throws this shot.
Toward the former, Brian.
That could be really good. It ain't bad. Come on, beat shot. Oh my gosh.
And you may notice me as a spectator, I don't even see where that disc went. I was tracking it as hard as I possibly could because I knew it was going to be insane. I couldn't even find it. But somehow, with all the spotters being there, they were able to spot it, able to track where it went out of bounds, and Ganon was actually left with a pretty easy birdie chance. So he gets his pitch up, putts it in for a solid bird, and calls it a day. And while I don't think this is actually that particularly smart of a shot for most people, if you are Ganon and you have that crazy height, then sure, why not just sky it way over the trees so you can eliminate all of those distractions. So the TD or assistant TD, I'm not fully sure, Michael Kruger being there for this full event, next day is like, all right, Ganon, you cannot do this. And hearing him talk throughout the tournament, he's just a great guy. And I'm sure he was like, man, how did you come up with this? I've been planning this tournament for so long. I don't know how you were able to see a line that I wasn't able to, but that's just how the pros work. So obviously next day he's not allowed to do that same shot, but something does happen on his second shot. And that is he isn't allowed to throw over the trees for the first shot, but his second shot goes hard left and he does another sky shot way over the trees, somehow finds a way to pitch up for his birdie. So I guess he did follow the rules, but barely. And then we get to the final round where Ganon does actually throw the necessary shot to get his easy birdie. And looking back, I think this may have been less of a spectacle as I originally had thought. I think he maybe just wasn't feeling super confident about his straight fairway hits, because on hole 2 it was a very narrow line and he just was not feeling good about it at all throughout the entire weekend. I think he just had this mental barrier where he was like, yeah, I'd rather do other things than hit this narrow shot. And so the best option obviously was just go straight over the trees, way left of the fairway, and then pitch up for eagle or birdie if you went out of bounds. So for me and all the spectators there, this has to be one of like our highlights in all of disc golf because it is just so unique, so cool. It just feels like the new modern Simon thing to find a totally crazy line that has not been ruled out yet because TDs don't know about it yet. And while they definitely had to instill new rules against it because you could potentially hit a spectator, it was awesome to see such an insane shot in person. And not only that, but for the freaking win. Because let's say Gannon did not feel super confident about this shot. If he did take take a par or bogey, then he definitely would have been less in contention. And with only a 1-stroke lead on hole 18, there was no guarantee that Gannon was actually going to come out on top. So allowing his creativity for this particular hole really helped him to get the win. And I love it because there's just so few things in sports that are this awesome and creative. And it is just a perfect reminder of how awesome disc golf is. So with that said, were any of you guys there for this shot? I would love to hear about your experiences with it. Me personally, I was just so stoked to be present for it. And I totally look forward to more of these crazy shots happening in the future, and future TDs being like, all right, we should probably narrow down any crazy stuff that might happen. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. I have a lot more content with the KCwo Wide Open coming up. I've actually filmed probably like 5 videos, but I could not post them because I'm moving and I've just been totally swamped. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Wild Runs, signing out. Peace. Ganon with the Ganon, Ganon with the Ganon, Ganon with the Ganon.